What if we told you that the most beloved star in women's basketball right now is hiding something ugly? Caitlin Clark, the golden girl of the WNBA, the pride of the Indiana Fever, and America's favorite three-point queen, is suddenly caught in a whirlwind of controversy, and fans are absolutely losing it. But it's not just about her injury. Oh no, it goes much deeper than that. You may have heard the headlines, Caitlin Clark injured in practice, Fever's rising star out indefinitely. But what if that's not the full story? What if we told you that this so-called injury is just the tip of the iceberg in a scandal involving locker room jealousy, a secret feud with a teammate, and shocking decisions from the Fever's coaching staff that may have pushed Caitlin too far? Sources close to the team are whispering about tensions boiling over, and some are saying the injury might not have been entirely accidental. Fans are shocked. Fever Nation is divided, and the league silent. In the past 72 hours, social media has erupted with questions. Why was Caitlin suddenly pulled from the lineup after that mysterious closed-door practice? Why did her teammate and former college rival post a cryptic Instagram story just hours before the news broke? And why was Clark seen arguing with coaching staff the day before her injury announcement? Whispers of betrayal, hidden agendas, and now accusations of sabotage. Is Caitlin's injury just an unfortunate coincidence, or the result of a much darker plot within the Fever organization? The truth may shatter everything fans thought they knew about their favorite player and expose the cracks in a franchise that's been under pressure since Clark first stepped on the court. Stay tuned, because we're diving deep into the drama, the deceit, and the ugly truth behind Caitlin Clark's shocking injury. You won't believe what we've uncovered. And by the end of this video, you might just question everything you thought you knew about Caitlin, her team, and the entire WNBA. Grab your popcorn. The drama starts now, when news first broke that Caitlin Clark had suffered an injury during an intense Fever practice session. The internet went into full meltdown mode. Fans flooded comment sections with broken heart emojis, hashtags like #PrayForCaitlin trended within hours, and even non-WNBA viewers were left asking, what happened to the golden girl of basketball? But behind the innocent headline of an ankle sprain lurked whispers of something far more sinister, because this wasn't just any practice. It was a closed-door scrimmage, unusually heated, and oddly emotional. According to a staff member who requested anonymity, Caitlin arrived at that practice looking off. Tense, distracted, gone was the confident, cocky sharpshooter who had stunned the league with her half-court threes and ice-cold composure. Instead, teammates allegedly noticed her quiet demeanor, the kind you see when someone's holding back tears. And then there was the confrontation. Multiple sources confirm Caitlin had a heated exchange with Fever guard Lexi Thompson just moments before the scrimmage began. Words were exchanged loud enough that players on the other end of the court stopped shooting. One witness claimed it was personal. It wasn't about basketball. Caitlin yelled something like, "You've been waiting for this, haven't you?" And Lexi just smirked. What does that even mean? Fans have begun speculating that this wasn't just a case of teammate tension. It was the eruption of a long-brewing rivalry that had finally exploded under the weight of media pressure, fan expectations, and internal politics. And here's where things get truly shocking. Remember that cryptic Instagram story Lexi posted the night before the injury? It was quickly deleted, but not before thousands of fans screenshotted it. A black background, just one sentence. Watch what happens when the mask falls off. No names, no context, but now everyone is connecting the dots, and it's not looking good. By the time the scrimmage began, the mood was ice cold. According to insiders, there were no smiles, no laughter, just intensity. The type of intensity you'd expect in the finals, not an internal practice. Caitlin, trying to prove a point perhaps, was going hard. Every cut, every pivot, every drive to the basket had a fire behind it. Some say she was trying to silence the whispers, to show that no matter the drama, she was still the face of the team. Then, it happened. Midway through the scrimmage, Caitlin drove hard to the rim, planted her foot, and dropped the gym. Reportedly went dead silent. Her scream echoed off the walls. Coaches rushed in. Trainers surrounded her. Lexi, standing just feet away, didn't move, just watched. One player, who spoke to an online sports blog, anonymously claimed the way Lexi stood there, it was eerie, like she knew this was coming. Caitlin was helped off the court, tears streaking down her face, but she was shaking her head, not in pain, but in disbelief. And according to an assistant coach, as they led her into the locker room, she muttered something that sent chills down everyone's spine. She finally got what she wanted. Wait, that single sentence sparked a wildfire. Fans immediately began dissecting every moment, every interview, every social media interaction between Caitlin and Lexi, and what they found painted a picture far more complicated than anyone expected. For months, rumors had swirled that Lexi was jealous of Caitlin's spotlight. While Lexi was a reliable starter with solid stats, it was Caitlin who graced the covers of magazines, got the endorsement deals, and was hailed as the savior of women's basketball. Even during team interviews, Lexi often sat off to the side, stone-faced, while reporters fawned over Clark. In one particularly awkward post-game press conference last month, when a reporter asked Caitlin what it felt like to carry the whole team, Lexi visibly rolled her eyes. The clip went viral on TikTok, but everyone chalked it up to exhaustion. Now it feels more like a warning sign. And just when the dust seemed like it couldn't get thicker, enter Ava Reynolds, a former Fever assistant who left the team suddenly 2 weeks ago with no official reason given. She's since spoken out on a podcast, and what she revealed has added gasoline to an already raging firestorm. Ava claimed the locker room had been fractured for weeks. According to her, Lexi and Caitlin barely spoke, and there had been a series of microaggressions from teammates who resented Clark's instant fame. She recounted one specific incident after a win where Clark scored 32 points and Lexi allegedly muttered under her breath, "Let's see her do that with a real team." But here's the kicker. Ava claims she was warned by higher-ups not to get involved in player dynamics. They told me, stay out of it. We don't want to rock the boat with Caitlin. She's too important for the brand. That's when I knew things were bad. This wasn't just team tension. This was brand warfare. Caitlin, intentionally or not, had become the Fever's meal ticket. And when one player starts getting the headlines, the awards, and the sponsors, while others feel forgotten, it only takes one spark to light the fuse. And that fuse might have exploded at practice. But not everyone's convinced it was an accident. Some fans have gone full detective mode, breaking down frame-by-frame footage from a leaked video of the injury. In the grainy clip, Caitlin drives left, Lexi appears to slide into her path, and then there's a sudden collision. Some claim Lexi stepped under her, an illegal move known as undercutting, while others insist it was incidental. The Fever have refused to release official footage. And as the silence grows louder, more theories are surfacing. Some even believe the coaching staff is complicit, that in a desperate attempt to humble Caitlin or shift team dynamics, they pushed her too hard, too fast. But here's the most chilling revelation yet. A source from inside the training staff claims that Caitlin had complained of ankle soreness the day before the injury, that she had asked for rest, that she had been advised to sit out the practice, and someone overruled that advice. The question is, who? Was it Coach Jensen trying to prove that no one is above team training? Was it upper management eager to keep Clark visible and dominant? Or was it a teammate who wanted to test just how tough Caitlin Clark really was? As Clark sits sidelined, no timeline announced for her return. Fans are spiraling. Fever Twitter is in chaos. Some are calling for Lexi's suspension. Others are defending her, saying injuries happen. But the division is clear. The family was left divided. And with no one speaking publicly about the full truth, speculation is filling the void. And then, just when the firestorm couldn't get any hotter, Caitlyn herself, silent for days, finally posted a single, ominous line on her story. "No one slips without a push." Within minutes of Caitlin Clark posting "No one slips without a push," the internet detonated. It wasn't just a statement, it was an accusation. And fans knew exactly who she was talking about. Hashtag Pushgate began trending almost instantly. Screenshots of Lexi Thompson's deleted Instagram story were resurrected, dissected, and compared against Caitlyn's cryptic message. "She's talking about Lexi. She has to be," one viral tweet read. Others jumped in, building an intricate web of screenshots, locker room video clips, and old quotes that, in hindsight, painted Lexi as the villain in a slow-burning feud. But then came the twist no one saw coming. An anonymous Twitter account claiming to be a Fever intern dropped a massive thread. "You want the truth about what's going on inside the Fever? Buckle up." The thread, which racked up over 600K likes in a matter of hours, made multiple jaw-dropping claims that Lexi had been lobbying for a leadership role behind the scenes, that she had once confronted Coach Jensen in front of staff over Caitlyn's star treatment, and that an actual vote had been proposed weeks prior to decide who would represent the team in upcoming media appearances. That vote allegedly never happened because management didn't want to risk Caitlyn losing. According to this anonymous source, Lexi had reached her boiling point when the team held a photo shoot for the Fever's new campaign, and Lexi, a team veteran, was told she'd be in the supporting player segment while Caitlyn took center stage. She walked out of the studio, the tweet read, slapped the clipboard out of the assistant's hand, screamed, "I'm not her backup." By this point, fans weren't just interested, they were invested. Memes exploded. TikTokers reenacted imaginary locker room fights. Some fans even started organizing hashtag Justice for Caitlyn digital protests, demanding an investigation into Lexi's role in the injury. But for those who knew the Fever dynamics best, none of this was new. The real surprise came when Caitlyn's own brother, Nolan Clark, weighed in. On a random Tuesday afternoon, Nolan posted a now-deleted tweet that sent the fandom into absolute chaos. "Been telling y'all, she's been dealing with the fakes since college." Wait, college? That tweet opened an entirely new can of worms. Because Caitlyn and Lexi weren't just teammates, they were rivals. Dating back to their college years, there had been multiple highly competitive matchups between Caitlyn's Iowa and Lexi's LSU, the most infamous. A Sweet 16 game where Lexi, then the darling of her program, made headlines for locking down Clark in the second half. Cameras even caught Lexi mouthing "sit down" after a block. The clip resurfaced on YouTube and Twitter immediately, racking up millions of new views overnight. But what people forgot was the aftermath. According to an old blog post by a student manager, there was tension after that game too. Apparently, Lexi and Caitlyn crossed paths in the locker tunnel and exchanged words. "You're gonna regret that taunt," Clark allegedly said. Lexi fired back, "You already do." That tension, never fully resolved, had apparently carried itself all the way to the Fever's locker room, and now, with an injury clouding everything, years of animosity had come to the surface like a volcano finally erupting. The league, meanwhile, remained eerily silent. No official investigation, no press conference from the Fever, just a vague update on Caitlyn's week-to-week status and an outpouring of support from the team's official account. But fans weren't buying it, not when one of their most valuable assets, the very face of WNBA's recent surge in popularity, was on the bench with what now felt like a deliberate injury. And just when it seemed things couldn't get any messier, another name entered the fray: Janelle Rivers, Lexi's longtime best friend and now a rising star on a rival WNBA team, decided to defend Lexi with a vengeance. In a live stream that was supposed to be a fan Q&A, Janelle went off script and off the rails. Everyone keeps acting like Caitlyn's a saint, she said. She's been shady from day one, always playing the victim. When things don't go her way, Lexi never touched her. If y'all think Lexi hurt her on purpose, you're delusional. She didn't stop there. Janelle claimed Caitlyn had weaponized her fame, creating a halo effect where any criticism against her was instantly shut down by the league, fans, and media. I've seen her get away with trash talk that would get anyone else benched, she added. But because she's Caitlyn Clark, it's competitive spirit. Lexi stood her ground, and now y'all want to crucify her. The backlash was immediate. Fever fans, who had long viewed Lexi as a secondary figure on the team, now doubled down on their suspicions. Janelle's rant seemed to confirm the very thing they feared, that there was an entire behind-the-scenes network of players who resented Caitlyn's meteoric rise. But was that enough motive to push someone to sabotage her, and then another? Below, a private voice message was leaked to a gossip account, allegedly Lexi ranting to a teammate after a game. Though unconfirmed, the voice in the audio said, "I'm sick of pretending." She's not humble. She's not a team player. She walks around like she's already a Hall of Famer. The moment she slips, they'll finally see what I've seen all along. The leak was damning. Lexi's representatives denied the audio was hers, but forensic audio analysts hired by one independent podcast claimed it matched her voice pattern with 90% certainty. Fans were livid, and the Fever's next game, now without Caitlyn, was met with protests, chants, and even a few signs held up behind the bench reading, "Where's the push, Lexi?" Security had to be tightened. Lexi was booed during warm-ups. It was clear the damage was already done. Caitlyn, meanwhile, remained silent except for a single like on a tweet that read, "Real ones don't need to say much." Truth reveals itself, but not everyone was satisfied with subtlety. Out of nowhere, Caitlyn's father, Brent Clark, broke the family's tight-lipped silence in a conversation with a local radio host. "We know the truth," he said calmly. "And I'll just say this. If the league doesn't protect its players from within, it sends a dangerous message to every kid watching." He didn't name names. He didn't have to. That comment hit the WNBA hard, and behind closed doors, it's said the league began considering a private review of the incident. Some insiders even whispered about potential suspensions, not just for players, but for staff who ignored Caitlyn's prior injury warnings. Meanwhile, former Fever player and current analyst Tia Montgomery revealed something on her segment. "That may just drop. There's a culture problem," she said. "I played on that team. If someone gets too big, too fast, there's always backlash. Always. Caitlyn's injury may have been physical, but the damage started long before that ankle twisted." The video was shaky, dimly lit, clearly taken from someone's phone, hidden inside a gym bag or beneath a seat. But the audio, crystal clear. "I didn't mean for it to go that far." Lexi Thompson's voice echoed through the silent meeting room. Players stared at her. Some crossed their arms. Others looked away and comfortable. The coaching staff sat frozen. A slow zoom-in revealed a tremble in Lexi's hands and a quiver in her voice as she continued, "We were all frustrated. Things were building up, but I didn't push her." The video cut off before anyone could respond, but the damage was done. Once leaked to the public, that 1-minute clip exploded like a nuclear bomb on social media. "Is this a confession?" asked one sports blogger. She admits to something happening, but says she didn't push. So what did she do? Theories multiplied like wildfire. One Twitter thread suggested Lexi had set a trap, intentionally, defending too tightly to bait Caitlyn into overextending her injured ankle. Another TikTok video, now with over 3 million views, slowed down the leaked injury footage frame by frame, highlighting how Lexi's foot was just too perfectly placed for it to be an accident. The creator added, "That's not defense. That's sabotage disguised as hustle." But then came the twist that flipped the narrative completely. A second video leaked, this one from the locker room minutes after Caitlyn had been helped off the court. In it, Lexi is seen sitting on the bench, breathing heavily, whispering to teammate Dania Moore. The camera barely catches the exchange, but it's their Dania. Did you see her face? She looked scared. Lexi, eyes red, replies, she should be. Those 3 words reignited the fire. Were they meant as a threat, a regret, or worse, a confirmation? Fans had no answers, but they did have fury. By now, Caitlin Clark was in physical therapy, posting periodic updates about her recovery, but never addressing the incident directly. Still, her Instagram story the night the second video leaked featured a burning bridge emoji, no caption. Just that, meanwhile, Lexi finally broke her silence with an emotional press conference, clearly arranged under pressure from the Fever's PR team. She appeared alone, shoulders hunched, wearing a gray hoodie, no team logo, no glamour, just raw emotion. I never intended to hurt anyone, she began. But I acknowledge my actions contributed to a situation that got out of control. There's no feud. There never was. Just 2 competitors, both passionate, both flawed. I hope Caitlyn recovers fast. She's important to the game. She always has been, but reporters weren't buying it, and neither were the fans. The comment section was brutal. Too little too late, one wrote. Funny how this statement only came after the leaks. Another added. Some even suggested Lexi's tears were PR strategy, with sports influencer Kaisho Trammell saying in a viral clip, "We're witnessing a redemption arc being manufactured right before our eyes." But then, everything took a turn. Out of nowhere, a third party entered the story. Cassidy Clark, Caitlyn's cousin, ex-college teammate, and according to some, her closest confidant. Cassidy rarely spoke publicly, but this time, she unleashed a thread that made the others look tame in comparison. She started with, "You'll want receipts, because I've got them." In the thread, she posted a series of screenshots, texts, Instagram DMs, even voice memos that painted a chilling picture. According to Cassidy, Lexi had messaged Caitlyn multiple times in the weeks leading up to the injury, accusing her of hogging the spotlight, using the team, and playing the media like a fiddle. One message read, "Let's see how long you stay queen when the court isn't yours anymore." Even more disturbing, Cassidy revealed that a prank, which fans had long assumed was harmless, had a darker undertone. Back in May, the team posted a video of Caitlyn arriving at practice, only to find her locker filled with shaving cream. Everyone laughed. Caitlyn played along. But Cassidy's caption hit like a gut punch. She left because she didn't. Want y'all to know they were icing her out? According to her, Caitlyn had been quietly dealing with exclusion, targeted jokes, and even petty sabotage, like her gear being misplaced, cold packs disappearing, and being left off. Group texts. She didn't speak on it because she didn't want to distract from the game, Cassidy wrote. But now y'all see it. Suddenly, the story wasn't about a one-time incident. It was about a pattern, a culture of hostility, a silent war beneath the surface of a team collapsing under pressure. And just as the story seemed to hit its emotional peak, another shocking detail emerged. Emails. An anonymous source sent a batch of internal emails to a popular sports gossip blog. The emails, allegedly between Fever staff members and WNBA officials, included one jaw-dropping exchange dated the day before Caitlyn's injury. In it, a staffer warns, Clark's workload is unsustainable. She's already flagged her ankle soreness. Pushing her into scrimmage tomorrow could backfire. The reply, understood, but PR optics are sensitive. Right now, we can't afford her skipping another practice. Let's monitor and proceed with caution. Fans were outraged. They weren't just betrayed by players, they were betrayed by the system. The idea that Caitlyn's pain was ignored for the sake of PR optics sent shockwaves through the sports world. SportsCenter dedicated a full segment to the leaked emails, Analysts debated whether Caitlyn had become a pawn in a marketing machine, her well-being traded for ticket sales and headlines. One commentator said, "The Fever built their castle on Caitlyn Clark's shoulders, and now that foundation is cracking." The WNBA finally responded, barely a bland statement read, "We are aware of the circulating materials. We remain committed to protecting our athletes and ensuring a safe, competitive environment." Translation: nothing would happen. No. One would be held accountable. Business as usual. But Caitlyn's silence was about to break, and she didn't go quietly. In a surprise move, Caitlyn granted an exclusive interview with a major sports outlet. Clips from the sit-down quickly made the rounds. When asked directly about Lexi, she paused, took a breath, and said, "I believe in forgiveness." But forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it never happened. She also confirmed that she had raised concerns about her ankle before the scrimmage, and that she had been encouraged to play anyway. When asked if she believed her injury was intentional, she stared dead into the camera and said, "I believe in patterns, and this pattern has been going on too long." The fandom erupted. Lines were drawn. Some fans now called for the WNBA to suspend multiple Fever staff. Others demanded Lexi be traded. Fever game attendance dipped sharply. Sponsors reportedly began pressuring the team for answers. It was no longer just a sports story. It was a scandal with brand consequences. And then, just when you thought the drama had peaked, one final shockwave hit. A petition surfaced online demanding an independent investigation into the Fever organization, signed by over 250,000 fans in just 2 days. And among the names, Alicia Miller, a former WNBA star and one of Lexi's personal mentors. Her caption under the petition read, "Sometimes you have to call out your own." When Alicia Miller, a respected WNBA icon and Lexi's own mentor, signed the petition calling for an investigation into the Indiana Fever, the message was loud and unmistakable. The time for silence was over. Her endorsement shattered what little was left of Lexi's support system, and suddenly even her staunchest defenders began to question the story they had been clinging to. But no one was ready for what came next. Just 3 days later, the Fever abruptly canceled all public practices, citing internal team matters. Reporters were blocked from media access. Social accounts went dark. Fans were left in suspense. Then, one by one, players began to unfollow Lexi on Instagram. Caitlyn Clark, who had never followed Lexi to begin with, posted a photo in the gym, her ankle now unwrapped, taped tight, with the caption, "Built for the comeback." But the real kicker, in the background, barely visible but unmistakable, was a whiteboard that read, "Only real ones in the room." The Fever had entered full-on damage control, but behind the scenes, pressure was mounting from the league. The fans, and even corporate sponsors, Nike, who had just launched a limited edition Caitlyn Clark sneaker, reportedly threatened to pull promotional content unless the team addressed the issue publicly. So the Fever finally caved. In a hastily arranged press event, streamed live and watched by nearly 2 million viewers, General Manager Carla Voss stepped to the podium. Her hands trembled slightly as she delivered a rehearsed but emotional statement. "We recognize that recent events have deeply shaken our team and our fans. After reviewing all materials, including video, staff communications, and medical reports, we have determined that decisions made leading up to Caitlyn's injury did not align with our commitment to player safety." Effective immediately, too. Members of our training staff have been placed on leave pending further review. But that wasn't all. In addition, she continued, Lexi Thompson has agreed to take an indefinite leave of absence from the team. Guests filled the live stream chat. Thousands of comments flooded in, ranging from "justice" to "she's guilty" to "this is a cover-up." And while the Fever tried to spin it as a mutual decision, no one believed that for a second. This wasn't an agreement. This was exile. Within hours, Lexi posted a now-deleted statement to her private page, sometimes walking away. is the only way to stop being the villain in someone else's story. I'll see you all again when the air's cleared, but the air was far from clear. What the Fever didn't know, or maybe did, but failed to act on, was that another bombshell was waiting to drop. Enter the mysterious audio leak. An investigative journalist from a popular sports podcast claimed to have received a recorded phone call between a senior Fever assistant and a WNBA scheduling director. In the call, the assistant is heard saying, "We pushed her. We all did. No one wanted to say no." Not when the cameras were rolling and the suits were watching. And then, the line that sent chills through every listener, "She told me, if I go down, make sure they don't cover it up. I failed her." The Fever refused to comment. The league launched an internal inquiry. But the fan base had already passed judgment. And in the middle of it all, Caitlin Clark, bruised but not broken, quietly preparing for a return until the biggest twist of all, the confrontation. In a moment that felt more scripted than real, but was confirmed by multiple sources, Caitlin and Lexi crossed paths one last time. It wasn't at the game. It wasn't at a press event. It was in the team facility after hours, just days before Lexi's official leave. The story goes like this. Lexi was cleaning out her locker. Caitlin walked in unexpectedly, ankle brace off, walking strong. The room was silent, charged, tense, the kind of moment you only see in movies. "You got what you wanted," Lexi said softly, without turning around. Caitlin reportedly stood there for a moment, then replied, "I wanted a team, not a knife in the back." Lexi turned, her eyes full of fire. "You think you're the only one who bleeds for this game? The only one who worked for it. They handed you the keys the minute you showed up. Some of us had to fight to be seen." Caitlin didn't flinch. "So you took me out?" Lexi shook her head. "No, but I didn't stop it either." That line, if true, became the defining quote of the scandal, screenshotted, shared, tattooed into the minds of fans forever. "I didn't stop it." Either hand with that, Lexi walked out. No goodbye, no hug, no apology, just silence. In the weeks that followed, the Fever began a slow rebuild. The locker room was restructured. A new head of player relations was hired. Mental health services were expanded, and a team-wide bonding retreat was scheduled for the off-season. But the wounds hadn't fully healed. The next time Caitlin stepped back on the court, the stadium erupted in thunderous applause. Fans held signs that read "Welcome back, Queen," and built different. Her comeback game was a masterclass. 28 points, 10 assists, and a buzzer-beater 3 that felt like divine revenge. Yet, after the game, when asked what message she had for her teammates and fans, Caitlin's answer surprised everyone. "No message," she said. "I'm just here to hoop, the rest, that's behind me." But was it really? Because while Lexi faded from public view, her social media wiped, her endorsements suspended, rumors began swirling of a tell-all interview in the works. One insider even claimed she was in talks for a documentary deal titled "The Silence Beneath the Spotlight," and Caitlin, she kept winning. But the sparkle in her interviews was dimmer now, more measured, guarded. The weight of betrayal had changed her, not broken her, but hardened her. And as the season pressed on, the league itself began to shift. Other players began speaking up not about Caitlin, but about their own experiences. With favoritism, with media manipulation, with being silenced when things got too uncomfortable. The incident had opened a door that no one could shut. The Fever, once a team wrapped in promise, was now haunted by whispers Caitlin Clark's injury may have healed. But the fracture in the trust between players, coaches, fans, and the league remained wide open, and so we end not with a resolution, but with a question. When the lights are off, the fans have gone home, and the jerseys are hung up, who really protects the players? In Part 4's closing moments, the camera pans to Caitlin, walking alone down the tunnel after another victory. Reporters yell her name, fans chant from the stands. But she doesn't look back, because now she knows something she didn't before. The game isn't just played on the court. And the real battles, they happen behind closed doors. So now that all the dust has settled, or has it, we're left with one undeniable truth. This wasn't just an injury. This was a full-blown implosion of trust, unity, and the illusion that everything behind the scenes is just smiles and sportsmanship. Caitlin Clark's injury may have started as a rolled ankle, but it spiraled into something far bigger. A locker room feud years in the making. A teammate who may not have pushed her, but definitely didn't catch her. A coaching staff that turned a blind eye, and a franchise that gambled on fame. And nearly lost it all. Fans are still divided. Lexi's silence grows louder with each passing day, and Caitlin, she may be back on the court, but her gaze is sharper. Her circle is smaller, and the fire in her game, it burns differently now. But here's what we want to know from you, the fans, the detectives, the ones who've stuck through every twist in this unbelievable saga. Do you believe Lexi intentionally caused Caitlin's injury? Was this a case of jealousy and sabotage? Or just a tragic accident fueled by pressure and competition? And most of all, can Caitlin Clark ever truly trust her team again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want all the theories, all the receipts, and every hot take. Make sure to smash that like button if you were hooked from the first scene to the final whistle. Subscribe for more explosive breakdowns of the drama they don't want you to see. And don't forget to turn on those notifications, because if there's a part 2 to this story, you better believe we'll be the first to tell it. Until next time, stay dramatic, stay curious, and stay tuned. Because in the world of sports, the real game is played off the court.